So what we're going to talk about today is about crafting a standout visual infographic resume. So Ivy, you kicked butt on your CV from last week. I think we walked through a couple of your examples and gave feedback on everybody and some things that you would edit or change. And this was really my experience, and maybe it had to be 10 plus years ago when I was promoted to my first director position. I was the youngest manager promoted to a director for the Royal Caribbean brand at that time. And so I knew when I was applying for that position that I needed to stand out. I needed to be able to demonstrate beyond a piece of paper why they should hire me over someone else. And so luckily I was married to a graphic designer, and luckily, in today's day and age, you don't need to be married to a graphic designer to be able to do this, because there's so many amazing tools out there. So what I really want to do is walk you through this antiquated version of what I did and inspire you to start thinking about how you can do this for yourself. And that's my husband right there. He is still my husband, FYI. We've been married for 17 years, something like that. Together for somebody asked me yesterday, how long have you been together? And I was like, a long time. And I wouldn't change a moment of it. The thing really for me, as we look at where resumes have progressed, that I would almost argue that this creative, beautiful resume is something that you have to have. The paper one is great for uploading to all the platforms. So Indeed, to all the ones that you have to, so that you get into systems. So you need text on paper, nothing complicated, that can go into platforms. But something that can really make you stand out is when you send somebody this really beautiful visual representation of your experience. Because you guys know, it's just like, I would parallel it to, you guys have heard the analogy of that it's only 5-10% of the words that come out of your mouth, and the 90% is your body language, whatever that statistic is. I think that this is the parallel to that, is that if you are doing a black and white paper resume with typing all over it, people scan it, read it, look at the highlights. But if you're able to give them that visual representation, that's the body language of your experience. So I always give people, well, I'm not applying for many jobs right now, but I always recommend that you do both. So you're going to do this professional buttoned up, what culturally is acceptable, but then you're also going to do this visual infographic resume that gives people a visual on your experience. So that's first and foremost why for me it's important, because I really think that it leaves a lasting impression that you as a person are not black and white on a piece of paper. You have the opportunity to show people your personality in a one-pager. I wouldn't go beyond a one-pager. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and some resources so that you can start thinking of how you create this yourself, okay? So first and foremost, I'm going to show you my old one. Let me just pull it up on the screen really quickly. All right. And I showed this last week very, very briefly. And remember, you guys, this is 10 plus years ago that I did this. So you have to give me a little bit of grace and forgiveness. So what I'm going to walk you through is the components of this, so that then we can parallel this onto what you are going to create, okay? So first and foremost is I put in here in the top left corner a visual representation of myself. I wanted to come across as poised and put together. I put my languages. I think my Portuguese was a little bit of a stretch, but I speak Spanish and English. My name across the top. The position that I was applying for had to do within the sales organization, and I wanted to highlight that I worked at my father's travel agency. I put logos of a charity that I work with. I put the cruise lines that I have sailed on, because I wanted the senior vice president who I was applying with to understand that I understand brands beyond Royal Caribbean. Destination experience. This is kind of a heat map of all of the places that I've traveled. So when I was being compared to other candidates, I wanted to make sure that they understood that I'm a well-traveled individual compared to somebody who'd just been within the United States. So as I went and worked with travel associations, travel agents, as I worked with crew members, that I could speak on a global scale. I sailed on 23 Royal Caribbean ships. And then you see this little, I guess you could call it like a pie chart. I needed to highlight, because I was so young, I was maybe 30 or 29, I was in that range, is I needed to highlight in my peer how much time I had spent in each area. And then I did these little kind of things that came off that highlighted an accomplishment of each of those areas. So in entertainment, my big thing in entertainment is I grew revenue in 2006 from 108,000 to 1.5 million in 4 years. So that was a huge talking point that I want somebody to look at that. And this goes back to what we talked about in our resume building, is using statistics. Is that if I just say increase revenue in the entertainment brand, that means nothing. I needed to be able to show that I almost tenfolded their revenue. And then I put new builds, 6 new builds, because that was important to what was coming. The training department I developed, so I want them to be able to ask a question, hey, what's NICE training? And then I can talk to, well, I developed a customer service training from the ground up, developed it in-house versus having to pay to a third-party consultant, and I can talk to them. International office collaboration, this was important for me because I had to work with globally all of the international offices when I worked with the hotel directors. And that was a really good, strong talking point. Shipboard, I put that. And then onboard revenue, I put that dollar figure because the onboard revenue accounts that I managed were 113 million. That's a really big number for a young kid to be managing. And I could speak in detail about those things that I managed. And then last but not least, I had worked shoreside and shipboard, but you could argue that I didn't have any direct reports. But I managed shipboard teams. And you guys know, any of your shoreside support person, while you're maybe not talking to that person and watching their performance on a day-to-day basis, that name of that person that was your shoreside support was like God to you. You were like, Allison Frazier, Jeanette Laurie, Oksana, whoever that person was. And those people of the world oversaw your performance, what ship you were going to go to, what if you were going to get promoted, they were talking to your leaders. So I wanted to be able to visually demonstrate that, because this position I was applying for had about 35 people that was on my team, that I wanted to show how many people I had oversight to and in what departments I did. Okay. And then I put my phone number and my email address at that time. Again, I would rework this a little bit today because design-wise, it's a little bit old, and I'm going to show you some examples. But this kind of gives you an idea on how you can take what is in your resume and create those highlights. So let me just show you really, Let me just show you really, really quickly. The steps that I perceive on how to, and we can send this out, Wilhelmina, on how to make your infographic. And the beauty of it is one of the templates or one of the areas that I'm going to send you to is Canva. Canva is basically a graphic design tool. Canva has opened the doors to the common person to design in a way that's easy, that's intuitive. So I would highly recommend that you can get a free subscription to Canva, or you could do a monthly one, and it's a relatively low cost compared to what you guys would pay for a graphic designer to do any work for you. So literally, as I was doing research for this webinar, is I looked through Canva, I was looking at different types of infographics, and one of the infographics that was on Canva was how to make an infographic. And I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm going to walk you guys through this. Like, first and foremost is when you think about an infographic is taking information and putting it onto something that is visually appealing. So number one is you are the topic. So I would highly recommend that you take your resume as the base of what you're going to put onto this. And you think about what is that target. In my situation, I had a very specific position that I was applying for. So I could target my infographic to highlight the areas that I knew were perceived weaknesses for me. That they could argue, oh, she's never had any direct reports. And I was like, nope, facing that head on. I want to explain to you guys how many direct reports I have working shoreside and supporting a shipboard team. So make sure you use your resume as what are the things that people could throw your resume out for, or throw your experience out for, and highlight with the strengths of what that is. So use your resume as the base and I would just recommend taking your resume, going through and highlighting what are the areas that you would put on there as your experience. Is it global travel? Is it the number of people that you oversaw? Jose, you were in housekeeping, correct?
Correct. That's correct.
I think he was in housekeeping. Correct. So for me, for you, I would do something that showed how many people you oversaw, because that's a massive department. How many people are in housekeeping? 200. There are not a lot of people that can, and I think Ivy was in photo, and so you probably had 12, 15 in photo, I would say. So, yeah. And just to put Ivy and Jose against each other, let's say that you guys are competing for the same position, and Jose has on his resume that I oversaw 200 people for X number of years. That's a huge advantage that you have over other candidates. So look at what are those strengths: world travel, number of people you oversaw, number of brands that you worked with, languages that you speak, and make sure that those are the things that you're highlighting onto your infographic. And think about what type of position are you looking in? Hotels? Are you looking in cruise lines? Are you looking in what other areas that specific experience could be relevant to them? And then that's where I put organize the most important thing to the job. That's number 3. Organize what's most important to the job, extract that information. And again, look at your resume, highlight it, then have another piece of paper, and on that other piece of paper, just put the stats really quickly. And then choose, and we're going to walk through this type of infographic that represents you. I'm going to show you so many different types of infographic, and I think it's important that you choose one that's visually appealing to you and also you feel represents your personality, because this is your opportunity to shine in this way. So then next is elaborate a draft. So make sure that your key points that you've pulled from your resume, put onto your infographic, start doing a draft of it. So do it. And I think honestly, the first one that I did is I just put it on a piece of paper because we were doing it from scratch. As I said, okay, I want something that's a circle graph that shows at Royal Caribbean, these are the different departments that I worked in. I want something that shows the places in the world that I've traveled to. I want something, and kind of broke it down in that way. And then last, proofread and correct. I know we talked about this with your resume, is that you need to be sending it to at least 10 people and be really respectful of your time and your effort that you put into the creativity of it. Is the people that you're going to show to, you're not asking them, put rules around it. Say, hey, I created this infographic. It's supposed to represent my CV or my resume of my experience. I'm sharing this with you because I'm not going to edit the design significantly, but I want to see if you guys catch any typos or there's anything confusing about it. Because they may say, oh, that little part with the little people, you know, this one right here, I don't understand what that means, or that's too busy, my eye. So go, okay, thank you for that. And you get to decide. And then also they're going to go, hey, there's a typo on the word generation, if there was. So I think you need to be, you can't get stuck in a wormhole of allowing people to redesign it for you. You're really asking for them, do you understand the key messages I'm trying to get across? And are there any typos on it? And then publish and share. I would encourage you that when you're applying for a position, if you can get the email address of the person who you're applying with, or if you have the opportunity to upload supplemental documents. So let's say that you upload your Word resume into the scanner that, you know, pulls all your information to the application. That's one. But maybe they give you the opportunity to upload another document of, you know, experience, something, or email it in. And then I would also encourage you to put it onto your LinkedIn. On your LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to put files. So put it on there. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it, because it shows how interesting you are, how creative you are, and really, truly, it helps you stand out from other people in the crowd. Okay? So this is kind of high level. First, you're the topic, you're the superstar of the story. Use your resume as the base. Pull out what are the most important things from your resume, put those onto another piece of paper. Choose the style of infographic that you want, and then start laying it out for what it would look like, and then start designing it. And you can hire somebody if you want to do this for you, but it's really important that you go through really the steps 1 through 5, because you're gonna have to give this information to a graphic designer anyway. You're gonna have to say, you know, okay, here's my resume. These are the 5 most important things, 6 most important things on my resume. Can you please put it together in some way that's visual and, you know, makes sense? So any questions up to this point? Christian?
I do have one. I mean, you said tailor it to your personality. I've seen some that are extremely busy and they use like neon colors and it doesn't look too professional,
Yeah.
right? Like you always want to always keep it along the lines. What I saw with yours, Barbara, is that you even use the font for Royal Caribbean, so it spoke their
That was
language.
a why not campaign at that time.
So even then, I see that like even speaks their language because that's the visuals that they're used to. So it catches the attention, right? So I don't know, would it be wise to go and see the companies how they communicate or the fonts they use and to tailor it to that?
Yeah, it depends. If you're applying for a very specific job, and you're like, that's my job and I'm gonna get it, then yes, for sure. Put the company colors in it, put some of the fonts in it, put things that would be specific or relevant. But if you're just putting it out there on LinkedIn, I would say put it, and this is why I also think that using platforms like Canva, they have thousands of graphic designers that are top designers. So they kind of aesthetically have already done a lot of the screening of it. And you have to be careful when you design it yourself, because by nature you can put all this junk onto there, but you have to respect, I guess, the template. So I'm going to show you some first. And again, like I said, when the first thing that I do is in Canva, you're going to look under, so you're going to go under infographic, resume, and templates. Okay. And then when you type that in, you're going to get everything that has a tag that's infographic. Okay. So some of these are very like Jonathan Patterson. This is very resume-esque. This is not an infographic resume, okay? Something, as we go down a little bit more, this one on the left is the graphic designer one. I love this for a graphic designer. I think it's so cool and fun and funky. This one is much more of an infographic. These ones, no, I would not say this is accomplishing what we want to do here. Let's go down and I'll show. So this is when I did this infographic resume search and I was like, these look like colorful resumes. These don't actually look like infographics. Okay. Josephine, it's beautiful, but it's a resume. This one is a little bit better. Sebastian Bennett's right here. Michael, this one's better. Amanda Willis, I like this thing right here. So then the next thing that I did is I just went and I searched infographic, okay? Because I said, oh, this is like a little bit too resume versus that. And so you'll see here, I could take something like this Hill Street Industries, and I could adapt this. And you'll see that the actual infographics now are much longer. You can do it however you want. I'll mock it up for you guys doing an 8.5 by 11. But these ones have a little bit of a stronger layout that I like more. So this one's interesting right here. You could do these 10 things that it says at the top. You could do some like the top 10. Think about, you know, those late night comedy shows, the top 10 reasons why to hire Christian Franco. And then you could put all of these fun, and you could put fun, kitschy little things. You could be like, right, let's just click onto this one. So you're going to click customize the template, right? And in here, you guys, okay, let's say the top 10 reasons to hire. And then I'm going to go here. Okay. Or you can do, I would maybe even put Christian Franco above, like in a big header. And then here, I'm going to say, okay, I don't want to flag, but I'm going to delete this and I'm going to put a globe. So I'm going to go to the element section and I'm going to put a globe. And so here, I'm going to choose this globe. All you got to do is click on it. Where did my globe go? There it is. I think I got 2 globes now. So all I got to do is take this and I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to say world travel leader. And then I'm going to put something in here about, I might even go over to ChatGPT to give me, or I might pull a bullet point from my resume already. And I would say, you know, with 15 years working shipboard, 15 years shipboard experience has given me the ability to lead a team from every culture, religion, work style, and belief system. There. I wouldn't do anything more than that, right? And you're going to go, and keep in mind, you guys, you could keep it 5 steps. So you could cut the rest of these out and just say, hey, the top 5 reasons. And then put the different things that you want to highlight. You say you're going to say Christian's applying for something in, you know, the children's space. Say he's applying for something within that human resources space. I would highlight whatever that thing is. Say he's applying because Christian's experience happens to be within the youth activities area. Is that if he's applying to be a leader of a YMCA, for example, I would highlight his experience with whatever that has to do with for the YMCA. Okay. So this is just an example of one that I pulled that I thought, okay, that's cool. I like it. And this is different than the resume. Let's see, let me go down. This one's cool. I like this one right here. This seems interesting that you could probably build out because it has that nice circle. It's got this could be revenue. Let's see what else. And I'm going to show you guys just doing one portrait of it. You could do something here. And these ones are animated. So also in Canva, you can do GIFs, or you can do something that has an animation on it. This one's kind of cool. I would maybe change the colors of this one to be a little bit more dynamic because it's a little bit boring for me. There's the infographic one that I showed you guys. These are fun and kitschy. That I like those cartoon ones. You guys know that because it's on my website. This one you could adapt. Ooh, I like this one. That one's pretty. The career timeline of this girl. I like this one for you, Ivy, believe it or not, because it feels like a little bit fun. This one here is super cool. I like that design. Okay, then I'm going to show you guys. This is just a Christian one right here. I'm going to show you a couple other websites. So this one's called Visme, V-I-S-E, or V-I-S-M-E. You can sign up for free with this one. And the beauty of it is that most of their stuff is pretty well designed and pretty well developed out. This one's a little bit better. Like these ones are too resume-esque. But they have some very nice templates on here. This one's kind of cool. They do make you pay once you only get access to a certain number for free. and then you pay if you do more, or if you want one of the nicer ones. Think of it as like those invitation emailing companies. Is like you get access to 4 designs if you want the free, and then if you want the nicer ones, then you have to pay a little bit more. Kesha, I like that one. And I know you guys are going to ask me the question about the pictures. The pictures, think of this as kind of somewhere in between your LinkedIn, your paper black and white resume, your LinkedIn, and your infographic resume. This is your LinkedIn is like a middle version. This is like, you can put a picture of yourself, you can put a cartoon of yourself, you can put any and everything, because you're going to be emailing this to a person. You're going to be putting this up, so it's not going to get filtered or stopped by a platform. I use the cartoon because I think it's a little bit safer, but it's up to you what you want to do with how comfortable you are. Look at Gabrielle Johnson. He didn't do anything. And Gabrielle, I would make this a little bit more interesting in the bottom area. I think there's too much text for it. So this is one, the Visme. The next one is free pics. And you guys, I just Googled infographic resumes, and these are the top things that came up. So this is something where you have to buy all of these templates here. And this would be something that you would find a template, and then you would have to give it to a graphic designer to design. It's not going to be as free as editing on a Canva. So if you find a template, I like this one right here, Winona's. I think it's pretty cool. There's color to it. It catches your eye. This one's cool right here. And let me just, once I click into it, you guys, you're going to download it, and it's going to give you the types of file types. And again, these are graphic designer file types. So unless you are versed on AI, Adobe Illustrator, not artificial intelligence, Adobe Illustrator or any of the graphic design platforms, you won't be able to edit this file. You're going to pay money for it, download it, and then be like, oh, Barbara told me to buy something that doesn't work for me. So don't do that. I like John Smith. This one's a buyer persona, which this is like when you're targeting who your client is. But I like that template because it's fun and it's kitschy, and the colors attract my eye. This one's cool. So there's a lot of nice ones here. This one's cool. This graphic, oh, I like Jessica Amber's. That's professional. I like it. There's like good colors in it. And then next one is, this is Enhance CV. This one had some cool, they're a little bit wordy, these resumes. This is not an infographic, but I liked this. I liked how they did the graphs here. I like the languages here. I thought these are really cool. And this website actually had, and Wilhelmina, I'll send you these links, obviously, and let's put it in the email when we send it. And then the last one is Creately, is something more like Canva. I think Canva is stronger. But again, this is something where you can just drag and drop and adjust the items easily. You don't need a graphic designer to do it. That's a cool one right there. And then this one, again, there's sign up for free. And then if you want the more expensive one like Canva, then you have to pay for it. But what I would do is just do it once. You pay the monthly subscription, the $19, whatever the upgraded version. Find a friend. I think if you have a friend who has the pro version, you get 5 slots in most of these. So find a friend and say, hey, can I borrow your slot for a month while I do my resume? And then develop yours out. So these are Canva. This one was Visme, Free Pics, Enhance CV, Creately, and we're going to go to Canva and have a little bit of fun. Do you guys have any questions? Does this all seem, is it overwhelming for anyone?
Nope, very
No?
insightful.
Okay. So thank you, Christian, for your encouragement. I love, one of the good things is I don't do these for with the team. I don't do the webinars with the team ahead of time. So this is the first time they're hearing the content. So it's good because then they ask real legit questions. They're not playing. Okay. So
What?
the
So
first
the 3
thing,
rehearsals we did yesterday don't count?
oh, don't tell them about those. Just kidding. Okay. So the first thing that I did, I was going to pick on Astrid or Ivy because I had their resumes from last week. So one of the things that, for Astrid, remember Astrid was a former hotel admin. One of the things that I was going to do on hers is I was going to put somebody, and all I did was I put into on Canva, you're going to have a bunch of different templates that you can choose from. And I can just here click and that's going to appear. And then I can edit it. I don't want that because I think it's boring. So I just started with a blank page. You could, if you wanted to start with something to guide you, do something like this and then edit within that. I'm going to give you just some ideas for some elements and we'll see, we'll maybe want this to be a little bit longer, but as I look at somebody who has a hotel admin, if I'm applying for an administrative position at a corporate company, at a hotel, you're going to see within the job description, you're going to see what you want to come across as. You could choose this little professional lady in the little outfit because that's how you expect to be dressing when you go to work. I liked the idea of this little superhero lady because I'm like, when you think of any of these hotel admins, for the executives that they support, they really are like the superhero person behind it. So I put this fun faceless lady on here. And then I would put a header. I'm going to get rid of this boring lady. I'm going to put a header in there. And it'll give you layouts for headers. Let's see if I can. Let's see if it'll get. Oh, it's only giving me text for the header. So it will give you, I have currently chosen, we have brand kits for our brands in here. But let's find a good, interesting header on here because it'll give you ones that are already formatted and beautiful. I'm going to choose this one. Okay. And I'm going to say Astrid. I forget. Oh, KRS split color. I'm going to color Chris. And then I can, okay, I'm going to say your next admin superhero, something like that, something kitschy and funny. And on Canva, it will let you align stuff. So you'll see these guidelines. And again, I'm super picky about all of this stuff. I want everything centered, aligned, because I think it shows your attention to detail. Okay. So then under here for Astrid, if we just look at her resume really, really quickly, I'm going to pull out, okay, I'm going to pull out languages. I'm going to pull out probably the brands that she worked for. And then, yeah, I'm going to do something like that. And I would maybe even do a timeline in here for her. So let's see if we can do timeline. Okay, this is interesting. You guys see all of these templates of the timelines in here? So I'm going to maybe pull out one of these, okay? I'm going to pull out the timelines here. Oh, there's another one. Let's see at these ones. There's some other timelines in here. And let's say that we want to, this little guy, it doesn't let me edit the elements on it, the colors. Some of them will. So I'm stuck to the colors of what this lady is, unless I want a graphic designer to change it because it's a photo. Let's see if I can give you an example of another one. This lady, oh, same with her. Oh, I like this lady too. She's fun. And again, you guys see here, there's a million different versions of this lady if you want to have a different one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the colors in here match. See, you see the photo, match the colors of what I have what I have in the presentation. So I'm going to say this one, I want to make it this. Oops. This one, I want to change it to this color. This one, I'm okay with the yellow. And then let's do the pink is going to become black. Okay. So what I'm going to do with Astrid is I'm going to put a bunch of her experiences here. And then maybe I'm going to insert, I'm going to go to Google Royal Caribbean logo. And when you guys are looking for these logos, you want it to be a PNG for the most part. You click on images when you go to Google. And look, there's a Royal Caribbean database. And then there's a million websites out there, you guys, that will let you download brand logos. So this is one of those websites where it will just let you download, visit the website. I'll show you real quick. And then boom, I can download the vector of this logo. But right here, I think for my purposes, I'll be okay copying the image and putting it in here. There we go. So make sure you get nice versions of the logo. I don't want to see anybody with crappy versions of logos that make you look bad. So let's say that we put the logo here. Let's say we put her logo here. And keep in mind on this one, I think we can, oh no, it doesn't let me adjust this one, is that we can put her position in here. We can put the position on the top. We can put some highlight around what she did. We can put a logo of the other company that she worked for. And again, only if these are really notable companies. And also one of the things that you can do is in this now is you should be able to hyperlink. Yeah. So what I can do here is I can put www.royalcaribbean.com. Okay. So when somebody exports this, that's going to be a hyperlink to the company that she worked for. Okay. So then I'll maybe put something about world travel. So I'm going to put world map. So maybe we'll put a world map. Maybe we'll do something that has the highlights of the places. Oh, here's one. This one potentially, no, we can't edit that one. So she might want to do a plain one and then put, and make sure it's something that's easy to see, the countries or the places. So say she wants to do something like this. I don't like the colors on this, but you guys understand conceptually where I'm going, is that we want to put highlights of the places that she worked in here. After we do these. And then maybe we want to put flags for her languages, for example. Okay. Let me go back to here and see if we missed. No. Okay. Let me see what else I'm going to put in hers. World map. Spanish. Oh, that's nice. We'll put something here that has perhaps her languages or a little flag or something. Let's say that she speaks Italian, Spanish, and English. This is going to give you all of the, I think this is the English one. And then she'll put a header here. I would use the same font as what you did underneath. My languages. I would put that there. My experience. And then maybe you could put one other, my accomplishments. You could put my education, my accomplishments, something else. And again, this is me creating it from scratch. Obviously, you guys can use one of these templates that are here and or that are in these to customize it to you. But this really, truly, you guys, I'm so passionate about these resumes because I just think they're funny, they're interesting. It shows your experience in a way that is not boring, and it lets you highlight the things that an employer really, truly cares about. And keep in mind, all of these things are there to spark a further conversation. So you could put, you know, she could put here my accomplishments. And she could just put images of things that she did that she is proud of. So she could put like 105 million growth, so that when someone is interviewing her, when someone is talking to her, then they're asking questions. Hey, tell me a little bit more about this. Tell me about this time that you had this experience. Tell me about your university. Tell me about the charities. Whatever those things are, is that those can be thought starters for her. Okay. So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions or queries or doubts or overwhelm. But I would highly, highly encourage you guys to start using the basis of these templates that exist, just because design-wise, they're there. So you can go in and customize something so easily. And granted, these are kind of feminine colors, the ones that are here right now, but you can go in and for a Jose, you can make these colors that would be, you can change these little fonts around so that it would feel more masculine versus, you know, this one right now. This one feels like a creative, artsy, you know, somebody who wants to, and you can change this as well. This looks like a really scripty font, but you can change it to something that comes across a little bit more professional, right? Like that. And then shrink it down, obviously, so it fits onto the one line. Just by changing the font, you like the layout, you like the structure of it, it's something cool and interesting that really doesn't cost you a lot of money to do, that can make a huge, huge difference when somebody looks at how you prepare and show up for a position. I like those a little bit better. And you guys will see right here at the bottom of the screen, when I change a font, it will ask me if I want to change all of them. Okay, so it'll change that font throughout the entire document. That's the ease of doing it through a platform like this. Okay, so I want to give, Christian, is there anything that I missed or any doubts that you have as you look at this craziness?
No, I love it. Just every time I use Canva, a lot of it, it's for pro users. How can we give word of how expensive it is, or how much of an investment it is to actually pay for that?
Let's just look at it really quick. $14.99 a month. So, and you guys sign up for 1 month. Pay the $15, sign up for 1 month, and then cancel it before the month comes to an end. Or again, ask a friend, see if anybody who has Canva. And it's paid monthly. It's not that expensive. And I think that, let's see, they have, oh, look, there's a student program, you guys. If you're a student, you can apply. High school, college, or university.
Ivy's raising her hand. I think she's going to share her password for her account.
Oh, yeah? Go ahead, Ivy.
Not yet, but no, just to say, Canva actually gives you 30 days to try, and I'm trying. I'm loving it. I'm using actually for my wedding stuff, for my wedding invitation, menu, you name it. It's absolutely amazing. I actually might even pay for the next month, but for sure I will be using for the infographic. That's really, really cool. So thank you for that. So yeah, 30 days trial. I recommend.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's great.
So,
that's great.
So it's a good investment. Even if you pay for the membership, it's a good investment, I'd say.
Yeah, or go in it with a couple friends, you know, just say, hey, does anybody want to do it? And then you put theirs together. And I can't remember, I think that if you do it with a couple, I can't remember what we pay for a company one. But it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. And also keep in mind, we're talking about your resume, your CV one. you guys can put out other interesting infographics on your experience. You know, this one's the design process. If you look down here, you could put like things that you know you've learned in your experience. That is, you know, think about Jose, like how to recover and a guest who gets to the room and finds it dirty or something like that. You could do something where you put in interesting, which from your years of experience, you know, first thing, this is what I do. And that's interesting for somebody who potentially wants to hire you, that they'll go, oh, that's great info. And this guy's creative and he's sharing. And I guarantee if you guys utilize things like ChatGPT or anything like that, you can start pumping these things out in a way that it contributes to your industry. I'll say that. It doesn't necessarily, and when it contributes to your industry, then people notice you. Okay. So cool. Well, I hope you guys found this interesting. There's a ton of tools out there. We will send it in the recap. So let me just stop screen sharing. We'll send it out, some of these links out in the recap of the call. And please feel free to reach out to us if you start working on a draft and you want us to be one of the proofreaders. We're happy to. But I think that this is something that will, when you guys start doing it, reach out. We'll guide you, even if it's just 15 minutes that we say, okay, on my resume, Christian, Barbara, Carol, what would you highlight? We'll kind of give you some highlights, but don't get stuck, because this is in, I would say, 99, well, say in 100 candidates, 0.5 candidates will do this. 0.5, if you're lucky. I mean, Christian, how many have you seen come through?
One, maybe two.
One, maybe two out of 500 plus candidates.
Out of 500, yeah.
Yeah.
And the one that I saw was very interesting. I was like, what is this? Like, it's very eye-catching. It's so visual. There's no way. I mean, you can't compete with just plain dull paper.
No, and then watch
Definitely.
Christian's face right now. And Christian, how many resumes with typos do you get? He's like, 75%.
Yeah. There's even some that have the wrong email address. It's like, oh no, that's not my email anymore.
Or people, or we'll see, like, they'll put like their, you know, it'll be like Barbara Kovas at, it'll say like some random something that they just, it was a copy and paste error. I'm like, you didn't even check your email address. That kind of feels important for us to get back to you. So you guys just be the ones that pay attention to the important details. And this, doing something like this, it's going to take you a day to do it, maybe 8 hours to do it if you really hunker down. And then maybe it'll take you two more hours to solicit people's feedback. But the impression that you're putting off when you do this is significant. So thank you guys for showing up. I think I give you both updates on what's happening within the company. So please just stay connected. You guys will see as soon as we have anything new posting, we'll share it with you. But thank you for engaging and caring about what your future looks like. It speaks volumes to who you guys are. And just know that our team is here to help you find whatever's next. And please, we are doing a weekly blog. You'll get that on a Friday email. We're posting this on our YouTube channel. So if you know anybody that's getting off shifts or needs any support and guidance, just ask them to follow us without any obligation. It's just really, we want to make crews' lives better, easier, their transition from shifts better, easier. So, okay. Thank you guys. Have an amazing week. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Thank you, Barbara.